money is gone in nursing. So what's next? If you were planning to become a travel nurse circa 2020, I would have told you that you were making the best life decision. Back then, you could earn up to $10,000 a week. Of course, you'd feel like shit, but at least you'd be paid for all your troubles. Unfortunately, though, the landscape, it's gradually changing as rates are beginning to drop to pre-COVID levels. I went back and did some research on what travel nurse contracts in California were paying between the years of 2016 and 2018. And it was surprising to see $2,000 to $2,200 per week. As of June 2023, rates are settling nicely at about $3,300 weekly. So, yeah, if you missed the travel nursing wave, your best chance at fame and fortune is to hope that you somehow pick up a winning lottery ticket. Whatever doubts that I had about the fall in travel nurse salaries has been confirmed by my recruiter from Epic Staffing, who texted me today to inform me that the agency bigwigs are convinced that rates will continue dropping even in the winter months when there's typically an upsurge in hospital cases. If you've been around long enough, you should know that contract rates usually increase in the winter. That's why most travel nurses prefer not to work during the summer. Now that our last hack for increased pay is gone, what can we do? Is travel nursing still the way to go? How can we reduce our expenses while on assignment while showing that we're duplicating cost? Travel nursing in 2023, the present reality. I came across an extreme example that best describes the current state of travel nursing and the realities nurses across America face. I ran into this travel nurse who lives in a truck. Yeah, you heard that right. And this isn't a scene from an 80s sitcom. She told me that she was paying rent worth $4,000 per month back home for an apartment where she lived with her kids and couldn't afford to continue duplicating expenses by renting a decent place in California. So she told me that she ended her lease in her California apartment and has been living in her Chevy Suburban for the past month. It takes a lot to live in a Chevy Suburban for an entire month, but if anyone can do it, it's definitely nurses. No one else is used to backaches, improper ventilation, and the sweet, acrid smell of body fluids in confined spaces. But still, I was extremely curious as to how she did it. She said she researched on YouTube to learn how people live under such harsh conditions and still survive. Yup, there are entire YouTube channels dedicated to sharing tips on how to live in your Chevy. There's really nothing you can't find on the internet these days. Anyways, this lady works the night shift. And if you can picture how difficult it is to sleep in a small four-wheel box at night, imagine what it would be like attempting to get some shut-eye in the busy city of California during the day. Still, she had a solution. Tinted windows. So she'd open up the sunroof and whip out her fan and a memory foam mattress in the back of her truck. She has been able to find a spot in the basement of a shopping mall that was equipped with 24/7 surveillance and free parking. So she wasn't too disturbed by the sunlight, and no one could look inside her makeshift residential suite. And this is innovative and flat out genius. But I still had a few more questions like, where do you shower? And do you go to the gym? She told me that she has a membership with Planet Fitness and that after work, she usually goes to work out and visits the laundromat. Next, she puts on all of her scrubs and heads to the mall to get some sleep ahead of the next day's shift. My final inquiry, though, is about how she fed herself. She goes to Trader Joe's and buys a salad, some fruit, and some coconut water, and a light snack. She only ever eats at work, never in her car.
Do you want ads? Because that's how
Listening to her story, I was literally amazed and so proud of this woman's sacrifices as the primary breadwinner in a household with 3 children. This nurse literally left behind her family in another state and came all the way to California to earn enough money to take care of the people in her life. Her efforts are nothing short of heroic. She's the perfect example of a stronger nurse, if you ask me. I've not met anyone with a more resolute spirit, and I am proud of her for doing what it takes despite the unfair treatment of our healthcare system. COVID never really went away, yet hospitals want to act like the virus and all the carnage from the pandemic no longer exists. Add to that the rising inflation rates and cost of living in the United States, and it's never been a worse time to be a bedside nurse. Nursing wages have continued to drop as an adjustment to market conditions, which is what the C-suite talk for. Your welfare don't matter, so deal with it. Come a little closer. Let me let you in on a little secret. Regardless of whether you are a bedside nurse or nurse executive, as long as you are an employee, you will always be subject to the market rates for your skill set. Simply put, you don't make the rules. You're only a victim. In every state and community, there appears to be a recurring systematic problem. There is simply not enough nurses to go around. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because we don't get the bare minimum in respect and we are undervalued for our services to humanity? Shit, your guess is as good as mine. The solution to this problem is so simple and requires basic human intelligence. Access to healthcare is a fundamental human right. We live in America, one of the richest nations in the world, yet our healthcare system needs to catch up. If you are poor in America, you could as well just start carving out your tombstone. People have had to literally rob banks and commit all sorts of crimes just to afford health insurance for themselves and their loved ones.
Very valuable. It was done for, medical reasons.
That's right. James Verone says he has no medical insurance. He says he has a growth of some sort on his chest, 2 ruptured discs, and a problem with his left foot. He's 59 years old, and with no job and a depleted bank account, he thought jail was the best place he could go for medical care and a roof over his head.
Despite the worrying obsession with profits, hospitals are still understaffed. Nurses, we're becoming an endangered species. And what's worse, if you're a person of color in this industry, you're definitely going to be pushed to the brink unless you learn how to advocate for yourself. Regardless of the economic situation, nurses should not have to abandon their 3 children and travel to California or any other state to earn enough to survive and provide a decent quality of life for their families. At what point do we collectively stand as nurses and say enough is enough? The way forward. Driven by my desire to help my friend, I started asking her what her goals were. I had recognized that her current lifestyle was certainly unsustainable and needed adjustments. She responded that she had 3 plans. Plan A was to work as a government nurse for a refugee camp in Texas for 10 years, a job that pays $75 to $85 an hour. Plan B was to go back to school and become a CRNA. Now, I've shared with you what I think about the CRNA route in a previous video, and you should check that out here. Plan C involved extending her current assignment at the hospital to create a buffer until either the first 2 plans work out. Now, it ain't my place to question the feasibility of her goals. In fact, it's stories like hers that inspire me to keep challenging nurses like yourself to be open to diverse possibilities and opportunities. There's more to nursing than graduate school or bedside employment that pays meager monthly wages. What about entrepreneurship? Have you ever considered that? There are over 6 billion people on this earth and several lucrative opportunities to earn millions or even billions of dollars by providing a product or a service. The best way to increase your productivity and get rewarded handsomely for all your efforts is to literally take a punt at entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, most healthcare workers don't think beyond paid employment. Think with me for about a minute about how we've become institutionalized in the healthcare system. How much of your time is spent working in a hospital or a clinic? How much mental effort and energy do you expend laboring away for someone else while getting paid literally peanuts as your annual wage? Before you realize what's happening, man, 40, 50 years have literally passed by and you're left with bankruptcy and declining health because of the chronic neglect from the system you've given your best years to. Ironic, isn't it? Have you ever wondered who takes care of nurses, who attends to our mental health when we're about to become a less attractive version of the Joker? Nobody is looking out for our physical, our mental, or our emotional well-being. We also don't have personalized financial coaching to help us establish a plan for wealth or mentors to simplify the journey and provide clarity. In the end, the nurse's path can be lonely and unrewarding, but it doesn't have to be. You can claw your way out the rubble and start building your life. How? Well, that's where Stonger Nurse Network comes in. We've helped countless nurses navigate their way out of the worst situations, from financial crises to emotional breakdowns and more. And we continue to see tremendous growth and progress within our community. You too can literally walk away from this death trap of low wages and poor working conditions. You can exit strong and become your own boss. We just don't give general, non-specific tips and advice on this channel. We're focused on providing value that works for you. So subscribe and watch out as we bring more tailored content to your growth as a nurse. Thank you for subscribing and watching Strong Nurse Universe. This is your girl, Captain Amazing. Mwah! Peace out. I will see y'all on my next video. Bye.